Have you ever loved a piece of media so much that you find yourself wanting to read more about its characters? Maybe you want to see the characters in an alternate setting, indulge in your favorite ship from the show, or explore the side of your favorite character's personality that wasn't really touched on in its original media. If this is the case, then I am so excited to tell you all about the world of fanfiction. Whether you're a daily fanfic reader or this is all foreign to you, you're definitely going to learn something new in this video. So, where do we begin? First, just what is fanfiction? Fanfiction is a work of fiction written by a fan involving characters from a pre-existing media, such as a video game, show, movie, etc. Online, you might see the words fanfiction combined to be one word, or you might see it just shortened to fanfic. Within fanfics, there are two major umbrellas that a fanfic can fall under category-wise, and they are canon compliant and alternate universe. The meanings of these can kind of be easily inferred. A canon compliant fic exists within the realm of the already pre-existing canon of the story, although please note that a fanfic is never canon to the original work, so don't confuse those together. An alternate universe fanfic throws the characters into any kind of situation that you can think of. A fun fact for people who may not know much about the world of fanfiction is that the popular book and movie franchise 50 Shades of Grey is actually a Twilight fanfic. The characters Anna and Christian are actually just Bella and Edward. The names were just changed when it became a published work in order to not infringe on copyright. Now, where might one go if they wanted to read fanfiction? There are three major platforms in the world of fanfiction, and they are Wattpad, Archive of Our Own, and fanfiction.net. All these platforms are free, and users can upload their own original works to these sites. The three of these platforms also have a little over 100 million combined users. Wattpad is generally where newer fanfic readers head to first, and because of that, a lot of their reader base is typically comprised of teenagers. And I honestly think that all of that is because Wattpad has an app, while the other two platforms don't, so it's kind of like ease of access. Wattpad has 90 million users, which is the largest out of the three platforms mentioned. Wattpad is also the home to one of the most successful fanfictions out there, which is titled After. So After was originally a fanfiction about the singer Harry Styles, and it became the most read story on Wattpad at the time, with around 10 million reads. Due to its success, After was adapted into a published book series. The only thing that was different was that the names of the characters were changed. So, like, Harry was no longer a character in order to not infringe on copyright. The books were even then adapted into movies, which really shows the success of this story. Wattpad is home to many other fanfictions that have amassed millions of reads, and other works have been uploaded to the site that have been published as well. The other two platforms mentioned earlier are a little smaller than Wattpad, so success on them looks a little bit different. For example, the most read fanfiction on Archive of Our Own exists within the Harry Potter universe, and it currently has a little under 12 million reads. As I mentioned the success of popular fanfictions like After or 50 Shades of Grey, you might be wondering just how this all began. What was the first fanfic? Some people online argue that Shakespeare is actually the first fanfic writer because a lot of his plays took inspiration from pre-existing work or adapted already existing characters, but I'm just going to jump ahead to fanfiction that resembles more of what we know today. In 1967, Star Trek fans published a fanzine, which is just a published fan magazine, called Spockanalia, which contained fanfics surrounding the characters. This fanzine was super successful within the Star Trek fandom at the time, and it inspired more people to be writing Star Trek fanfictions, and then subsequently other fandoms began to write fanfics and publish them in fanzines as well. So that is kind of like the origins of the online fanfiction that we post today. The next thing that you might be wondering is just how is all of this legal? Are fanfiction writers infringing on the original creator's copyright? From my understanding, fanfiction is legal and it is protected under fair use as long as the fanfic is transforming the original work and that the fanfic author is not making any sort of profit from their writing. This is why we see the names of characters get changed when the fanfics become published, because then it would be for profit and then infringing on copyright. Additionally, many writers like J.K. Rowling, for example, have publicly been very supportive of fanfiction. I know she's made comments publicly saying that she's just happy people enjoy her characters so much and enjoy her universe. So you're generally pretty safe from infringing on any copyright if you wanted to write a fanfic and post it online. The final thing we're going to be looking at today is some fanfic-specific terminology. In my previous video, we looked at fandom terminology as a whole, but today I wanted to look at fanfic terminology because this stuff does not really overlap with just fandom-specific terms in general. The first thing that you might come across is self-insert fanfiction. In a self-insert fanfic, the story is typically written in second-person perspective in order to allow the reader to feel like they are within the world of the fanfic as well. In a self-insert, you typically come across Y/N within the story, which just stands for your name. So when you would read it, you would replace that in your head with your own name. The whole point is just for the reader to be transported into the world of the fanfic as well. The next term we're going to be looking at is one-shot. A one-shot is a fanfic that is completed in one post. There are no chapters, and this is typically a shorter work, but there are one-shots that are tens of thousands of words, so really they can vary in any length. Another term you might see when you're on a fanfic site is beta reader. A beta reader is basically just the editor for someone's fanfic. They read the fanfic while it is in beta, and they proofread it for the author. They can do anything from just proofreading for grammatical errors, or they can work with the author and give them their opinion on the direction of the story as a whole. The final term that I'm going to touch on today is the abbreviation RPF. So RPF stands for Real Person Fanfiction. As you might assume, these fanfics involve real celebrities and not characters in a universe. The aforementioned fanfic After is the perfect example of this because it involves Harry Styles, who is a real singer. There is some discourse online as to whether or not RPF fanfictions are moral since they involve real people, but there is a good amount of them out there, so I just figured I would mention the term because you're going to come across it. Alright, so that's where we're going to wrap it up for this week's video. It was so much fun to research all of this stuff and share it with you guys. I would love to hear any additional fanfic facts or trivia that you guys might know, so be sure to leave a comment with those down below. And if you really enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. I make weekly fandom related content where I teach you about different aspects of fandom. Alright, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your days, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye!